Okay, now we're going to take a look at more of in persuasion. Again, this is chapter 7 that we're looking at here. We're going to take a look at the message content and particularly this kind of fear-arousing component. This was another one that seemed to cause a little bit of difficulty on that quiz on Blackboard. So first, let's take a look at this message can be either emotionally based or cognitively based. And that's where we'd get into the fear part. Okay, so for example, ads like this would be more, playing with your emotions. That's what they're, basically giving you an emotionally based advertisement or message. Okay, versus a cognitively based one might be something more like this. The secondhand smoke impacts for adults might be heart disease, lung cancer, stroke. For children, ear infections, asthma attacks, respiratory symptoms like coughing and sneezing, and those sorts of things. So trying to get, you could even maybe throw numbers, percentages, proportions, things like that to get more at that cognitive side, more your thinking, and instead of trying to hit those emotions. Okay, so the fear-arousing messages or ads would obviously be trying to aim at your emotions and evoking those emotions like death or disease or holes in your neck or things like that. Okay, so the question becomes, how much fear should you try to arouse or invoke in those ads that you or those messages that you provide? Okay, and so some research has shown us that the more fear that is, evoked in people, the more the response then. So the more they may end up changing their behavior in the end. Okay, so if we look at our question from the quiz, it said, apparently fear arousal facilitates persuasion when A, fear is extremely high, B, fear is moderately high, C, the target, so the audience, has low self-esteem, or D, a way to avoid the almost certain danger is available. Okay, so we had a bit of a spread through all of those options, and really, if the more fear, the more persuasion you have. Okay, but to be most effective, if you're evoking, arousing fear in people, to be most effective, you need to provide also a solution or a way to avoid those potential outcomes, those horrible, dangerous kinds of outcomes that come. So in this case, let's go back to the smoking example. Okay, so doing something like this, or other ads where it just shows people horrible with their breathing or death, or all those kinds of things that have been connected to smoking. What you would need to do as well is provide with that something that would help people understand or choose a way to not have to deal with those kinds of potential outcomes. So, if you're talking about, lung cancer or problems or those sorts of things, this one particularly, is looking at addiction. But, getting rid of the tar and things like that are contained in those cigarettes, so smoking something different. We've got the e-cigarette movement that's gaining a lot of traction lately. So not that avoids the addiction potentially, but can hopefully cut down on some of those other dangers that are connected to the actual cigarette and smoking that. So, trying to maybe provide something like that into your advertisement may be beneficial. Again, that solution or alternative is more effective than just the fear by itself. So anyway, so that's a little bit, to go back to this question, the correct answer here would have been a way, so fear arousal facilitates persuasion when D, a way to avoid the almost certain danger is available. So that would be the most effective way of providing an argument or ad when you invoke fear.